Let's get into that right now. In fact, Martin Ødegaard or Maddison, please let me know your opinions before I offer mine, because you know, just because I think it's a good one, people. What have we got? Kamara saying, if we choose Odegaard over Maddison, it shows we're not serious. I think that's a harsh one, my guy. That's a harsh one, my guy. That's a really, really, really harsh one. You know, you're right, even getting Odegaard on loan, you know, could be something to help us save money. But Real Madrid, I know they could take a loan fee. I think we paid them 2 odd million, but he's got a year left. Now, they're playing a dangerous game. If he, you know, obviously for Real Madrid, it's great if they decide to sell him. Who knows? The finances might look better next year. It might be Mbappe, Camavinga, this guy and that guy, Odegaard safe sort of thing. If it's that cool, it doesn't matter if he's got a year left or so. But surely it doesn't make sense for Real Madrid to loan him out with a year left on his deal. Surely you either want to sell him now or make a decision. Of course, if he bads it up at Arsenal, 20 league goals and things, and yet again, if Arsenal have no buy option on that, then, you know, he's an attractive proposition to a lot of people. I'm sure Odegaard on form, there's a lot of people that be interested. You know, the man had one decent game and automatically you saw the media start saying City are looking at him. Klopp spoke to him and all of these sort of things. And he's a good player. You know, it's just time for him to prove it. So, yeah, man, I would rather a permanent signing. You know, Maddison would be a good statement. I do think people are moving like Maddison's up here and Odegaard's down there, you know, based on how they've been. I think they're very even. I think there's different qualities. Personally, I'd prefer a permanent signing of either or. I'd rather, at this moment in time, things can change. I would rather, I'm more on because of the propaganda and everything, I'm more on the Maddison one personally, people. But I'm happy with Odegaard. I think Odegaard would be a great signing. I'd be equally as buzzing. I'd have Odegaard back, but forget 35 million and the original 22 million offer. I'd say 17, 18. I think you lot are dream chasing with that one, but fair play. I like Odegaard, but I want Maddison mine made up. I think I spanned that already. Odegaard's worth a measly 30 million. I can't lie. Odegaard needs to add goals to his game. Appreciate you, my broski. If Odegaard is available, we got to get him back ASAP. Linked up well with Smith Rowe. That's facts, Tyler. And the one thing with Odegaard, you know, and I think fans are a bit ironic in that, you know, man say we need other people to take the burden off people. But the minute we sign another creator, what's happening with Smith Rowe? Like you saw, there was times Smith Rowe was playing better than Odegaard. Both players weren't playing well, or both were affecting the game. As I said, you need different things. There's going to be games where you need Smith Rowe in the 10 and Odegaard on the left, or vice versa, or both of them could actually, you know, one could be an 8, one could be a 10, sort of thing. Equally, there could be games for none. In the same way, you need a partnership of Partey and Lokonga to work. You also need Partey and a more expansive man. If something happens to Partey, you need a midfield duo or a trio that works. We need different meals. How many of you would go insane if you ate the same meal time and time again? And that's what Arsenal do. And when you eat the same meal, it starts to become stale. It starts to become a bit mundane. It's not inspiring. That sounds a bit like how we play football, how we are currently playing football at Arsenal Football Club. Unfortunately, keep the opinions and them things there coming, people. Smith Rowe is going to be amazing, people. Keep the opinions coming. We'll get on to the rest of them in a bit. Odegaard's a good player. You're right, man. And big up the Twitch gang. Unless we get Odegaard for cheap, I don't want him. Maddison is going to come in and deliver. I'm tired of these emotional players, man. I hear that, but the same way, Odegaard has shown it. You know, he has played with his backs against the wall. Like I said, I don't listen to me and make it feel like I'm saying he's soft. I just get that. For me, the mentality, I just look at it and I see Maddison. He looks like them youths I used to play Sunday League against, them Essex youths and stuff, and that they know they're good, but there's certain Essex youths, you kick them, and nothing to say with just Essex. There's hard men in Essex and things, but when I say Essex, for me, I'm from London, we used to play Thurrock and them things there. The Essex lads, and used to see the lads, you know, man, I like Jack Wilshere and Jack Grealish and Maddison, and where they've got their ability, but they've also got the swagger, you know. They've got the swagger. They know it, you know. They're like, yeah, you're gonna kick me, I'm gonna nutmeg you, and I'm blow a kiss to your mum and things like that. them man, they're on it. Sometimes it don't look like Odegaard doesn't always want the ball. Maddison does. I'm sure when it comes to Leicester fans will say something because man are moving like Maddison's up here, and once again, Odegaard's down there where they're the same. There's little bits and pieces that separate them. They can both, you know, I'd say in Odegaard's case, he's probably more adaptable. Really. He could probably play in a couple of roles. You know, Maddison, if he's not 8 or 10, where is he playing? You know, you could force him out wide, but Odegaard can do a job out there. I don't want either there. But yeah, keep them coming, people. Keep them coming. If we get Odegaard for 35 and Maddison is quoted at 60, 70, is he 35 million better? I don't think so. So Odegaard for me. And that's the thing. If that's the case, sort of thing. I never said Odegaard's exactly soft. I said sometimes he plays within himself, but you're right. There's sometimes when Maddison struggles to control games. I'm just saying the X factor because he believes in himself. I'm not saying Maddison doesn't. I mean Odegaard doesn't. It's just he looks like he's always feeling sorry for himself. At least with someone who believes in himself a bit more, I'm likely to get something. And that's what I mean, Irvin, in that man, I'm moving like Maddison's up here and Odegaard's there. People look at Maddison with rose tints. Whenever Arsenal get linked with a player, we start overrating them as fans. You know, Partey, man, start saying he's Vieira, he can pass a ball, he can do this. Of course, Partey can pass, but I need to remember what he's made a career of and what he's primarily there. You know, even when we was linked with Buendia, you would have thought he's the best man in the world. You know, we put these men on the scale, we act like there's no weaknesses, and then people start saying they're overrated, they're this, that, and the third. I do think Maddison is more likely to take the game by the scuff of its neck, by his ones, than Odegaard. I think Maddison's more likely to set the tempo and say, you man, I don't know what you man are on, but we need to do something. It just seems a bit like Odegaard needs other man to get gassed and then he's going to do his thing. But I say that he set the tone against Spurs. He set the tone against Chelsea. Pivotal role in us coming behind from behind against West Ham. I'm sure he played against Leicester. You know, he had a very good game at home against Leeds. Now, you know, I think he's done definitely a lot better than 20 appearances, 2 goals, 2 assists are led to believe, but it is what it is. I do think there's more pressure on Maddison because he's going to cost an arm and a leg. Do I think he's potentially worth the fees being quoted at this moment in time? Probably not. He might be in the future. I'm not too sure. Please don't spam. Anyone who's spamming, moderators, get rid. There's no time for anything else. No time for anything else, man. Maddison nudges it. Odegaard with young attackers that can make runs and we're golden. Facts. Maddison is much better. I think that's harsh. I don't know for much. I think at this moment in time, neither one is clear of the other. That's significantly better or whatever you said, or much better for me. You know, I think they're in the same bracket. I don't think Odegaard's up here and Maddison's down there because neither, what have they both given to the game? Odegaard's had a fantastic loan spell of significance at Sociedad. Maddison's had little bits and pieces at Leicester. They ain't really done much in the game for footballing purposes, really like that. In terms of household names in the world of football, man. So you can still be a captain. You lot, Aubameyang's captain. I'm pretty sure you say he's not worth it. You know, he leads by example, but just because you have the captain's band, don't mean you don't play within yourself. Don't mean you don't feel sorry for yourself. He does have leadership qualities, but I'm pretty sure you lot criticize Aubameyang, so it's not making sense. To be fair, obviously Maddison's got that arrogance, but sometimes arrogance can be masked. You know, insecurities can be masked as arrogance. So it is what it is in that regard. So this is what I mean. I don't think one is clear of the other. I'm happy with either one. Maddison makes me stand up and think, yo, serious. Odegaard, I'm like, all right, cool, we're going. But I'm happy with Odegaard, man. I think he'd be a fantastic signing, and people, I don't know what's wrong with you lot. A man said beggars can't be choosing. I'd take him over nobody. Maddison's a pipe dream. Fundamentally, facts. There it is, there, man. If we can get Odegaard for cheap, it would be a good deal. Facts. And both have something to prove. For Maddison, he'd have something to prove because if you come to Arsenal for big money and it's not looking good, man are gonna say, Rodgers made you look good. You know, how are you gonna get in the England team? End of the day, man are just gonna see the transfer fee. That's it. You know, that's all that people care about. So Maddison's got a lot to prove in the game, really and truly. You know, Odegaard's got a lot to prove because he ain't really done much in it. Tapping Merchant Aubameyang didn't miss last season, Odegaard's assist would be much better. If only it was that easy to correlate. If your mum had a willy, she'd be your dad. It's not that simple, is it? You know? That's just like me saying Ozil would simply have the top goal scorer boot just because Giroud was missing chances. Even though I believe it, it's not true. You know, really and truly. Your opinions are off the top, bro. How did I not know about this channel? Chop archives, no clue, but now you do. So make sure you hit that sub button. We need depth, so I'll take him. The balls that Maddison can do, I haven't seen Odegaard do in that fashion. I think that's harsh. I think man are sleeping on Odegaard now. Odegaard can play ball. For me, the only thing is just if he's really up for it, if he's on being a leader sort of thing, you know, the swagger. Let's be real. Odegaard can play ball. Let's not cap, man. Please stop spamming. They're roughly on the same level. They're roughly on the same levels. Maddison isn't far better. I agree, DG. They're on the same bracket, so I'd rather get the bargain since we need to improve other positions. I'm happy with either one. I don't think Maddison is happening purely because, you know, if Odegaard says he wants to leave and the situation that Real Madrid is obviously in, you can get him. You know, Maddison, they don't want to sell him. It's as simple as that. So you're gonna have to pay more than Maddison's worth, probably give them some favorable bonuses and stuff. You know how the deal's made out, but attainable. You know, probably in terms of the fees, probably pay more over a less period of time, you know, and things like that. So, and obviously there's the pressure. And for me, whoever comes in, I hope that they're given a chance, because if you're bringing in this 10 or whatever, let's just say 10, let's keep them what they are. You need to get the midfield pivot sorted. Now, we've got Lokonga, who I believe in part. If something happens to either one, where are we going past that? You know, you need a more creative 8. That's why I think you need our and either of these lot, because you're going to see this 10 dropping deep. Yeah, you can force Smith Rowe into the lineup, one of them out wide, and then they can link up with each other. But if to get the best out of a 10 in this team, or the most creative man of the midfield, that pivot needs to be spot on. Same way we said, to get the best out of these right wingers, to even see a better Pepe, to see an even better Pepe, an even better Saka, an even better Martinelli, you need the fullbacks to be spot on. You know, we need to build up relationships and partnerships in this team, and it's not happening. It's the same way we sign Partey. There's no partner. We don't defend well. We don't press. And then we think, just, oh, we signed you, you're on big money, work your magic. Same way we signed Gabriel and thought he would fix everything defensively. In the same way, if there's not an emphasis on improving defensively properly, Ben White isn't going to solve anything. Like with Odegaard, like with half our signings, they'll come in, have a great, you know, first couple of months, bad it up. You know, we might be losing and they look like the one good guys, you know, and then they have what we always say, they get infected with the Arsenal disease. They start looking like bottlers. That's because we buy players and we don't know what pieces to the puzzle they're solving, or what sort of ingredient to reach the final meal they are. So regardless, I think you need a more creative man. I'd rather Maddison because Odegaard don't score enough, in my opinion. I hear that, but I'm always always like to challenge things. How many goals does Maddison have? Because for me, I have Maddison down as more of a goal scorer than obviously my man, forgot his name, Odegaard. But again, statistics paint the full picture, really, really and truly. Imagine we got both. You know, then Arteta would really be on his Arsene Wenger thing. You know what? Forget it. You know what? We might as well just move mad. Smith Rowe, Maddison, Odegaard, everyone just run about, force the next creative man on the flanks. Everyone just run about and do creative stuff. Let me see how much goals Maddison has, because I have him down as someone that gets goals and things, but is that true? Now, in 98 Premier League appearances, he's got 21 goals in 17 appearances. In the Championship, 15 and 47. Obviously, he was a young G them times there, so I'm not really trying to use that against him. How many goals has he got for Leicester? 27 goals and 20 assists in 118 appearances. Now, I'm not saying that's bad. It's not, but you know, would you call someone a goal scoring midfielder then with them statistics? I do think it's a good return, because like I said, he's only 24. Some of them you have to give him a bit of a blight because he was a young guy and things like that. But how much is that? Now I've got it here in front of you. You know, that's his statistics for for all the clubs he's played for. You know, he's been on loan at Aberdeen. He's obviously came through at Coventry and then went to Norwich. You know, his Norwich statistics are good. 16 goals, 13 assists in 53. That's where you need to be signing these men when they're there, bro. When they're at Coventry and Norwich, that's when you need to move for people like Maddison, not when they're at Leicester in a good situation where he's going to cost an arm and a leg. But if we look at Odegaard again, I'm not going to pay too much attention to his Real Madrid statistics because they're rubby, more so where he's been on loan and things like that. Which again, he's a young man. I don't really want to use this, 22 and 24. So I guess there's a tiny bit more resale value. So he does have goals over Odegaard, Maddison. But yeah, Odegaard's statistics are quite meaty. Even what I would describe as a handsome return, I thought he at least had double figures for Sociedad. First real chance I felt he got, 7 goals, 9 assists. I know he was in Holland for a bit, but I feel he was too young them times. Good return at Vitesse, really, 11 goals, 12 assists. But I feel he's extremely young, and the Hervé loan was quite poor. So he does have goals over them. What we need is to make sure you're going to build a team. I'm not saying around them, but around them, because they're going to struggle. If you just think, yo, bring these creative man in, they're going to work their magic. Life don't work like that. By that logic, Arsenal would have the best defense in the league. I've always fucking signing centre halves. You know, how many fullbacks have we actually signed? How many fullbacks have we actually got, people? You know, signings is half the job. You need to know how they fit in. And especially from an attacking sense, we were 9th for goals. Is there any coincidence that Odegaard has signed for this club? He's not really had the best season in terms of goals and assists, together with Willian not really performing, Aubameyang over the course of the season. Lacazette came into his own towards the end, as did Pepe, but not a single attacking player excelled for the whole season. That's because of their own fault. They need to take responsibility. But same way, there's something we're doing, or worse so we're not doing, to get the best out of them in the training ground. We should not be 9th for goals. Whatever you've got to say about any of our attackers, I'm not saying they're the best in the league, but not if you understand football, you do not want to play against them. Even guys like City, they do not want to play against Aubameyang, Lacazette and whatnot. No one wants to play against good players. You know, they should be able to cause problems. So it's something that they all need to address, but it's also something the manager also needs to look at, people. And whatnot. It's a very interesting debate, really and truly. I'm trying to scroll down to find my notes. They're not notes of significance, but I just tried to find, like, who would I rather? And for me, I'm sitting on the fence. I'd prefer both. When I look at Maddison, I have him down as slightly more proactive. Now, Odegaard showed me incidences where he's proactive, where he's tried to change the game. But I just think Maddison is a bit more on it from minute 0 to 90. I think he's a bit more proactive. I think he's a tiny bit more nastier. I think he's got that swagger to go with his ability. Like, he knows he's the shit, pardon my language. He can obviously play as an 8. And I don't like the Premier League proven thing, because it's not relevant if the player is not good. And I rate Odegaard, but there is that Premier League proven aspect. With Odegaard, it's not really fair, because I wouldn't quite say he's Premier League proven, but he has had that 6 months or so from January. So it's not like he's someone that we're signing and we'd still need to give him time to adapt, but he's got kind of got it in it, so it's cool. I have him down as slightly more reactive to Maddison. He's a bit cuter, a bit more passive. I do think he lacks self-confidence consistently, and I think that's something he's got to arrest himself. I do think that's something that might get addressed with Arteta. You know, someone who shows more of a caring sort of side to him, someone that makes him feel important. I feel, with playing well, you will get that. And I think he hasn't got that. And I think away from everything, that's one thing he probably struggles with at Real Madrid. Like I said, but a very good player. For me, what makes it attractive to signing him, due to the length of contract and what's going on at Real Madrid, as opposed to Leicester, he's cheaper. And, as shown with Varane, Real Madrid kind of need money and things like that. In another season, Varane might, they might have told United where to shove it, because they've let Ramos go. They're broke. They want money. So again, and we're broke. We need money. So getting Odegaard might be cheaper. That might, and I keep saying it, I'm speaking it into existence. Hopefully, that money that you save, that can be thrown towards a right back, or more reserves could be thrown towards an out number 8, really and truly. Because, it's not just a 10 or an 8. You need both, or you need, at a push, I'd rather get an 8, because you've got Smith Rowe and you'd have a partner for Partey. But I think you need both. It's like last season. It weren't just a case of Partey or the number 8 or the hour at the time. You needed both. And I think the club do a very good number on convincing the fans that they, not that it's either or, that it's the less of two evils. You need both. In my opinion, we go for Odegaard, because this is that is the player who Arteta was betting on to stay. This is who he wanted. It does feel like there's a long way to go and stuff. I do think he plays within himself at times, but he's quality. And I'm not saying Maddison isn't guilty of them. Maddison, you could have probably went to the Euros, but why did Mason Mount, Foden and Grealish get ahead of you? Now they're all quality players, but why did they? They're offering something that you didn't. I know he struggled with fitness towards the end, but why were you kind of dropped out the Leicester team? Because I do think man are moving like Maddison is amazing and things. He's a quality player, he is amazing, but he's no worse or better than Odegaard of significance. They're in the same bracket. Such is life. The one we don't sign will probably be the one everyone says we should have signed, and this, that, and the third. But you get the point. Exactly. And like you can see here, the difference in price may make the difference fundamentally, and we've got a good understanding with Real Madrid, because obviously we've been robbed with a couple of loans. Not so much Odegaard, more so Ceballos. So it is what it is in that regards, folks. As you lot can see here, emerging reports are just all saying the same thing in relation to Odegaard. But the thing is with this, there's no legs to it, you know. It just keeps saying Arsenal. This was 14 minutes ago, so let's use this as an example. We refuse to give up. He's keen to go to the Emirates, but we haven't heard why. We haven't heard, you know, Carlo has said you're not going to play. Real Madrid are trying some other targets. Real Madrid actually trying to get Kylian Mbappe or whatever, so we're selling you. They don't think you're as good. You haven't impressed in pre-season. You are not homesick, but you're missing London. You want to return. We don't know why. It just says he, you know, it's just come out today and said Arsenal refused to give up. It said he's keen to leave Real Madrid, but it hasn't told us why. For me, I think Carlos told him something that, you know, he might have said something at the start and pre-seasons happened and there's something different now. Arsenal have not given up hope on signing Real Madrid ace Martin Ødegaard. He spent the second half of last season on loan at the Gunners, making 20 appearances in all comps. He only managed to play a part in 4 goals. Now, for me, what would impress me more with Odegaard? We need goals. We need goals in our midfield, Arsenal, 100%. 906 of you locked in. I'm very appreciative. Please make sure you're hitting that like button. You're subscribed on Twitch and you're also checking out the DG merch. It's ridiculous what you lot are on. Like I said, people, we need assists and goals and all of those sort of things because we don't get the guys that are paid to score goals in our team are struggling with that. And we don't, and we all know as an Arsenal fan base that the goals aren't spread out evenly among the team. I know goal scoring midfielders are not really around like that per se, but we haven't really got that. So I'm not going to say goals are not important for me, but goals can also mask games because you look at Bruno. Bruno can't control a game for United at this moment in time, or he can't control it to the IQ a player like Bruno should have because you saw it for Portugal. It got dropped out. More other people like João Moutinho and Renato coming into the team. So for me, if he can dictate the tempo of the game, control the influence of the game and stuff like that, that is more important for me than the goals because you've seen it. We can't break down low blocks. When there's bare space and whatnot, then we can do our thing, but we struggle. And if he's able to do that, if there's a swagger about him, if he wants the ball, you know, because the ability to do it and wanting to do it are two different things. Too many times you've seen it at Arsenal. People play safe. They play it to the Smith Rowes and Sakas, you know. I'm not going to throw anyone in it, but certain midfielders stand next to opposition midfielders so they know they can't receive it. People play the safe pass. We need people who want to take risks. We need people who have it. I always say to you, competence, confidence, and consistency. A lot of these Arsenal players have 1 or 2 of the 3. Confidence. It's all right to have confidence when everything's going wrong, but when there's pressure, Lord knows last season, if COVID weren't there would have been bare pressure on these lot because of how we're moving. You've still got to perform. I always say the fans love you subjectively. You lot have to be part of a siege mentality, you know. Because you lot are army guys, you know, for 38 games. And I just think people, when things aren't going right at Arsenal, only a couple man can stand up to be counted. Only a couple man are on it. Just like when we went out of the Europa League, even on the worst of days, Saka and Smith Rowe are doing more. They're more experienced man. I think we need that. The door hasn't been completely shut, people. Allegedly, according to Football.London, Odegaard wants to fight for his place at Real, but hasn't shut the door completely on a return to Arsenal. Real Madrid are interested in listening to offers for Odegaard, who has failed to stake a claim to a first-team place since joining at the tender age of 16. We all know he wished us goodbye and he had a good 6 months. So again, that 6 months could probably help him. And let's click on this, people. So again, I'm sure a lot of this is off the back of a mediocre game for him against Rangers. Oh, I thought I spilt my smoothie on my t-shirt. Apologies, people. Real Madrid midfielder Odegaard blasted for Ibrox performance. Martin, wake up, man. Real Madrid midfielder Martin Ødegaard has been slammed after his performance in Sunday's friendly defeat at Rangers. He started the game. Apparently, an editor of AS said, Odegaard is an eternal promise surrounded by homegrown players. He should have said, here I am. What is there to do? Like at Arsenal, do they all play for him? Martin, you are in Real Madrid. Wake up, macho. Apparently, he's gone on to insist Odegaard should have performed better and showed greater presence. Probably true, to be honest. The Norway captain insists Romeo was outshunned by... Insist was outshunned by his less experienced teammates promoted from Raúl Castilla's side. So again, he's being outshunned by other people. And for me, this Arribas guy is quite good. The academy, the best, are very good. Good Victor Kos, Sergio Arribas, and Miguel Gutierrez, who's a left back we looked at, all with a very good attitude. There is a wonderful academy, but the academy is there to help, not to be the basis of the project. When they are in the remaining 16, we'll see. What worries me the most is the attitude of Luka Jovic and Odegaard. Hopefully those who return, especially Bale, do not go along that line. And again, there's a lot of people that need to be moved on at Real Madrid. Like you see, Luka Jovic, Ceballos, there's bare halfway house guys. And you'd imagine one or two are sold to raise funds, people. So, like you see there, it looks a bit long for him, really. And based on, it doesn't seem like he had the best of games, but that's nothing to get on to him about, people. I don't know where he's compared. And I mean, a week's a long time in football. If you go here, apparently we was told to forget this. So this is why it's a game of chess. It's a long window. And this is why I said I'll shut my mouth until the end of August. But if the business hasn't been done in August, I've got a lot to say, people. So it is what it is, man. There's a lot of games to be played. I'm pretty sure before the day's out, this rumor might be put to bed and then happen again. So we'll have to see what happens in that regards. But in relation to Maddison versus Odegaard, I'm on the fence, man, because there's qualities in Maddison. I think, the swagger, all of this stuff. But I just think people sleeping on Odegaard. I don't think people are deep in how good he is. Like, he's a very good player. So I'm on the fence. At this moment in time, I'd take Maddison over him because I don't know why, man. It's just a big money signing and things. But I'd be over the moon with Odegaard personally. I think he's a good player, and I don't know why people are sleeping on him. But yeah, man, let me see what you lot are saying. That's how I feel. Let me put Martin because it just looks a bit better, doesn't it? Please make sure you're smashing that like button and you're subscribing and them things there. So yeah, let's carry on, man. Odegaard was a wonder kid, even called the next Messi. You can't be telling me this guy doesn't have a bit of arrogance in him after all of that. Of course, he's got a bit of arrogance about him. He's a professional footballer, but I'm just saying to the standard. And for me, I wouldn't read too much in being called the next Messi because that can have an issue on you, people. I'd rather Maddison because Odegaard don't score enough, in my opinion. DG, have you thought of this take? Odegaard probably believes in his source more than Maddison, but Maddison wants to improve more. That could be it, but I get the vibe. One thing I'll give Odegaard is that he wants to improve. He wants to be better. He wants to help the team, and I get that from Maddison. So I'm not too sure in that. I mean, confidence can like I tell you, look, confidence can show itself in all sorts of ways. And I've seen it in Odegaard. He's more leading by example. He does shout and stuff. But for me, you've got to believe in yourself all the time. It's just how do you react when something's going wrong? And when the chips are down, it looks like Odegaard is, he doesn't fight against it. He just crumbles really and truly. That's just how I feel. But again, things can change quickly in football. So yeah, man. A man said Torreira in the 10. You're bugging out. Maddison is much better. Arsenal should not buy players who disappear during big games because Maddison sure as hell doesn't. Odegaard still really young, man. He's easily the best cam we've linked to technically. Plays very well with Smith Rowe. He's the perfect signing. I'm happy with both. Odegaard has more ambition. That's why I'm not too sure where you got that from. But okay. Odegaard literally unlocks Pepe for us. People are forgetting that. You got to give Pepe his own credit, but I feel like Madder's career has been stagnant for a year or so, potentially injury prone. I'm not really watching the injury prone stuff, but I do think people act like Maddison shouldn't be a slightly better player than he is right now as well, and acting like he hasn't been locked out of the team. Please stop spamming. Unfortunately, that's another one that we've been blocked. I prefer Odegaard. I mean, Alwood than Odegaard. He's a different player, but I'd prefer that, man. What else have we got? Odegaard's work rate is better as well. That's a very good point. The work rate defensively, Martin Ødegaard puts in a shift. You're completely correct. Odegaard for cheap and Ramsey on loan with an option. No thanks with Ramsey. Let's leave that one there. I think we'll leave that one. Odegaard doesn't grab the game by the scruff. He's very soft. We need impact. Why can no one see this? I think people be very surprised with Maddison then. I think people are looking at Maddison with rose tints. Odegaard, captain of his country, while Maddison is still struggling to get into the England team. Not really fair, to be fair to either party. I'm pretty sure, Odegaard in current form might not have gone to the Euros if he was English, and Maddison could be Norway captain if he showed it. Let's be a bit fair. The scenarios aren't quite the same. Frank Kessié and Zachariah would be great for Arsenal. I don't think we need definitely not two of those players. Good, interesting opinions. I just prefer Maddison and Smith Rowe than Emil Smith Rowe and Maddison. Maddison is a goal scorer. Odegaard is a workhorse. We need both. I'd like to see both come to the club. Facts. Odegaard and Smith Rowe interchanging the 10 would be good cover. Odegaard is better off the ball. Either or, in my opinion, but all this noise for me, just wait until the window closes. Facts. Madders is the better on set pieces. Arsenal have no one good taking them. Maddison is more of a statement signing, which is why most fans probably want him. Obviously, he's also good, but Odegaard would also be a great option. Chris, bang on the money. Bang on the money. Pereira is better than both. Not quite sure. Maddison literally disappears during big games. Just watch the last 4 games of the season. T, this is why you've got to approach these things with balance. You know, in football, people look at things with rose tints. As I said, people look at things with rose tints. People make out Odegaard is down there and Maddison is all the way up here, where they're the same bracket. They're both good players. It doesn't have to be because I want Maddison, Odegaard is not good. Because I want Odegaard, Maddison is overrated. Come on now, man. I mean, Odegaard, do you know what it is with Odegaard? He'd have to force it, you know. He has to force it. And it's still early, but he'd have to do his job as well. He'd have to do his job, man. He'd really have to do a lot. Even Maddison, they both have to do a lot to get this move. Maybe more so Maddison, because obviously Leicester look a bit more healthier financially as a football club relative to what Real Madrid are trying to do. But both of them would probably have to force it, man. Not quite sure. Big up everyone in the comments. Not quite sure what they're saying. Both are good options, but I hope the club looks at the player we really need. Odegaard, and I think they go with Odegaard purely because they've worked with him, they've seen him up in training, they know him already, and he looks a bit cheaper. Odegaard can play right wing, so that can cover Pepe for AFCON. Ooh, I want to see a bit more like actual wingers there, but fact. Maddison claims he is an 8. Odegaard, for me, only 22. Happy with either one, man. What I don't want to see is talking about Willian and Lacazette playing in the 10. That's what I'm not on. No clue what Man United's got to do with any of this, but facts. Whatever you got to say. We've got a ball winner. I think we need a ball player now. We've got Lokonga and Partey. We need someone who can pass a football. Up the likes, 400 is the target, people, and subscribe, new viewers. Again, where are we at in terms of likes? Please make sure you're hitting the like button, you're subscribing, you're following on Twitch. Shout out to the Twitch gang as well. Where are we at in terms of things? We're at 392. We're flirting with 400 people. We're close. We're not there yet, man. I don't think we'll buy both players, but if it's that simple, why not? I think an option to buy would be silly. And if we're going to do the option to buy thing, we might as well just leave it, man. I don't care if Real Madrid say we promise to speak to you guys, learn our lessons, because maybe you could have got him even cheaper now, cheaper because his value was arguably even worse when he was at, you know, he came off the back of a good spell at Sociedad, but he immediately stopped playing. We could have got him for dirt cheap. You know, if you're going to get him on loan, you need a buy option. I don't want to hear Arteta say we're chatting at the end of the season, or Odegaard saying the same, because we don't control any variables. We're developing another player for them, which he'd have a year left on his deal. He'll be hot property. They either give him a new deal, Real Madrid use him, or, you know, if he really excels it and shells it down with a year left and he's badded up the Prem, he'll get other admirers and Arsenal will be left with the short change. So I would like, if we're going to do the loan thing, you need to get him with an option. You need to, or they just leave it. I hear it. You know, if we're going to sign a more industrial midfielder, an 8.5, a right back, and there's no funds for a 10, then cool, get him on loan. But we're gonna go through the same things again and again and again and again. So if you are gonna grab him on loan, do the thing, man. Just have that buy option, man. Someone needs to sign Willian. Bro, no one's signing him for them peas, man. No one's signing him. We're in trouble there with Willian, man. I agree. Odegaard needs to be settled at a club, not consistently loaned out. I think he'd be great at Arsenal. And for him, if he wants to be, he needs to. Do you know what? The only one that can answer it is Odegaard. He needs to ask himself in his heart, because you know, you see inconsistencies. Obviously, media start remixing things and make stories and carry on a certain sort of way to sell stories. But for me, you need to make a decision. If you what you want in your heart is to make things happen at Real Madrid, try that. If you want to leave, if even a small inkling is saying not even to come Arsenal, to leave, to excel and advance as a footballer, you need to do it, because what scares you the most in life is what's going to improve you. I couldn't begrudge him for staying at Real Madrid. Carlo Ancelotti, new manager, no Zidane now, you know, which is why we thought this one was off. Young players, you know, they can't spend money, so it's either Carlo has to play it safe and lean on the Carvajols, the Marcelos, you know, the people that have been part of Real Madrid for a long time and a specific period, or he starts giving the young guys new opportunities and things. You know, so it is what it is. It all depends how Carlo Ancelotti is trying to set up Real Madrid. Because for me, if I'm Odegaard, everyone's going to say everything at the start of preseason, but now as we're getting to the season, I'm asking Carlo, one, honestly, what do I need to improve on? Where I'm not asking any no divine right to play or anything, but where do you see me if I'm not in your starting lineup? What do I need to improve at? How realistically can I force the issue? And how do you think you're going to use me this season? You know, all you can ask for is honesty. If Carlo's giving you sideward signals, then you know what you need to do. You know, I know he wants to make it at Real Madrid, and I have on ability. I think if given a chance, he can. But sometimes in life, we need to just look away with things with our heart and look at our brain. Look at Ceballos. It's a different one, but Ceballos, if Real Madrid don't give you a chance this year, you might as well move, because you're not developing, you know? So we'll have to see. It's a very interesting one. I don't think there's any rights and wrongs, but it's an interesting summer, and it's going to be a long summer, and we're nowhere near the finishing line, the finishing hurdle, or whatever you want to call it. Odegaard is one-footed and blocks the right-hand side, and Maddison is both-footed. Oh, I'm not sure Maddison is... I'd describe Maddison as both-footed, but fair play. Greetings, DG. I appreciate Odegaard as a superb talent, but do not think he's a good fit for Arsenal due to the softness in our team. I feel we need more mentally tough players to get back to the top. I do think he's strong mentally. I just don't think, you know, I do think he's definitely strong mentally. I'm not saying you're saying this, but just because he's not beating off his chest and, you know, the Tony Adams, the Tierney's, these sort of thing, you know, the passion sort of thing that we're accomplished, we find that leads to accomplishments in this country and we're accustomed to here. It don't mean you're not a leader. There's many ways of leading, but I hear you. I really do hear you. For me, it's just how he reacts to failure what scares me. But it's still there in his game. You can see the obvious. You saw it at Sociedad. You saw it at Vitesse. You saw it. You know, you've seen it. You see it in his game.